So, yeah, we'll start off with the serenity prayer. We already did it, but we're going to do it again. But, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And welcome to Out of the Woods. My name is Jake Jones. I'm joined by one of my best friends / soulmates, Zach, Patrick.
Hi, I'm Zach. I'm an alcoholic.
And my name's Jake. I'm a grateful recovering addict.
Yeah.
And we're here to just shoot the breeze about recovery and just get the ball rolling. And we had a couple of nice interludes that we had already went through in our heads, but now we're recording. So we're just going to get the ball rolling.
I thought we were the whole time.
No,
Okay.
no. That was all dry runs.
All right, good.
But yeah, so how you doing?
Good. I am thankful to be sober today, by God's good graces. But I've been really good. It's just after being drunk for so long, being sober, like everything feels foreign now. Just like any little thing. But it's easier to deal with stuff. It's also harder. It's just sobriety is a wild ride to go on. There's just so many feelings and emotions, and then if anything goes wrong, you get emotions on why you drank or something like that, but then you get emotions about thinking about drinking, and then that spins into not drinking, and you're fine again. But I'm so just glad to be sober right now, though, because, honestly, just I wasn't doing anything. I weighed myself this morning. I'm down to 200 pounds.
No shit.
From 250.
That's kind of crazy.
I know. That's a reason to just stop drinking alone. I'm not puffy and red.
Yeah.
I was also thinking the last time I was on a podcast was Clear Shots, and I was like, oh, yeah, I brought a bottle of whiskey with me.
I think we both blacked out on that episode together.
Yeah, I don't remember recording it. Yeah. I remember coming there.
We had mentioned before we started recording step 1, which was your life had become unmanageable. And I think we could both elaborate on that a little bit. But you had a pretty good thing going before we kept interrupting you by adjusting the microphone and stuff.
See, I don't even remember what I was saying. So, but
it's
yeah,
like the last 2-3 years, it was just pretty much. I mean, I think that goes without saying for anybody in our situation. Was like the last year to. I mean, for me, it was the last good 2 years was completely just. It was just chaos.
Yeah.
And I put on like this visage or this veil of success, and it was like the furthest thing from the truth. And it's just funny, I mentioned before we started recording, like being shameless about your past, and it's like I find it humorous now looking back, and I'm like, what was I thinking?
Yeah, it's got to be like a mix, like, because sometimes I think back on drinking and it's almost like romanticizing it. But I don't I try not to do that but I can think of so many great times, but then I can also just think like every day for the last 3 years I was drunk by like noon. I'd black out by like 2 or 3, and I just don't remember anything, and it's good to be able to hold on to memories again. And not just completely lose myself. But yeah, step 1, my life was unmanageable, and I wasn't it was just I was just hanging on by a thread, and I knew that before I even knew what the steps were. And then, but thankfully I don't even know what exactly happened. I was talking to my mom or something, and we were talking about rehab, and I kind of got mad at her, and then the next day I was like, okay, I want to go. I was like, this is. And I also, like, a couple weeks before that, I had like a seizure, and part of it definitely came on from withdrawals, and I like bit through my tongue, and then I was like joking around even about that, and I was like, good thing I'm drinking vodka, I'll keep it all sterile. And it was always just such a joke to me, but it was a problem, and I knew it was a huge problem. You don't want to admit it at first, And then at the same time, you're like, no, I'm not like a crazy I'm a fun drunk, you know? But it's not fun when you're just alone all the time drinking.
Yeah. That's what it really ends up being, too. And it even, like, it's bad when you're drinking with your friends and you still feel alone.
Yeah.
Like, that was a feeling I had a lot, was like, because, you mentioned, you start the party drinking, and then eventually you're the only one drinking because everyone's either asleep or they left. And
Yeah.
like, that's what I remember, especially like with our friendship, the first, 2/3 of it, the first, I don't know, 8/10, 4/5 numbers, fucking crazy.
7 years ago.
Pretty much. But like, I just remember it was like I would always go to your guys' house, like 2 hours before everybody, so that way you and I could tie one on.
We could pregame.
Yeah, we could pregame and then be like, yeah, we're gonna have all the fun before everybody gets here, and then not realizing that just makes it way worse for everybody else and for us at the end. Like, I always see it as like a pendulum in a way, where it's like, you gotta like you gotta pay it back eventually. And I think you get to a point where you're like, what the fuck am I doing? And you're like, there's no point in stopping, because this is all I know, this is all I've done.
And I think like I reached that point like 2 years before like I even thought about getting sober, but it was, yeah, it's all it's so comfortable to just slip right back in there. And like I even stopped trying to be like, oh, I'm gonna like, sober up, because it was always just a lie. Like my fiance Christy, your cousin, like her and my mom and a bunch of people thought I was like sober for a month, and it was only like 2 days. And and I got off on that, like the lying and the hiding, and be like, people don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But most of the time they did know. And then they'd be like, you smell from alcohol. And I was like, oh, that was from last night. It's 9 a.m. I'm not crazy. But yeah, it's weird too going around my house now that I'm sober, and just looking at all the places that like I used to hide alcohol, things like that. Like I had a dream recently, and that happens a lot in like recovery. But I had a dream that I went to like my old spot in the garage, and I had a bottle there, and I remember waking up and feeling so just upset with myself, and then being like, is there actually a bottle there right now? Did that happen? And then I was thinking too, when I like went to check, I'm like, if there was a bottle in there right now, would I drink it? Would I be able to actually see that alcohol all by myself and be like, no? And that's what I've been thinking about a lot in early recovery. You think about that all the time. It's just like, because you're not going to drink again. Like that's the goal. And a lot of the time it's, you think you might want to just be like, I'll take a few years off and then see how it goes when I come back. But that never works for anyone. And it's, yeah. And that's, I'm just worried about like having to start over on the count, having to go over that.
Yeah.
But any scared part is just eventually outweighed by all the positive. Just like not disappointing people all the time. That's a great one. Not having people just, I don't know, feel bad for you or anything. Don't know if you're going to die. Just weird stuff like that. But now I kind of forgot where I was even going.
That's totally fine. That's part of it, man.
Yeah.
No, and that's the thing, that was for me, that was a big part of getting sober, was I was going to all these funerals, man. And you had to go to a few too.
Yeah.
And you're just like there's nothing crazier than going to a funeral because somebody that you love passed away from something substance related, and then like leaving that funeral and having your family member, this is what happened to me, having a family member come up to you being like, that could be you, that's gonna be you.
Yeah.
And like, they're serious, And it's always like they're walking on eggshells. Like, all right, is this the night that Jake gets so drunk we never see him again? Is this the night where Jake falls off the wagon and is just doing fentanyl at someone's house and we never see him again?
Smoking fentanyl through a nectar collector.
For real, like smoking meth out of a light bulb. Like what's next, And like one of my favorite sayings, I use a lot of sayings all the time, but one of my favorite ones is about, you play the tape back and you're just like, all right, well, what's going to happen if I keep doing this? Well, it's going to be the same thing. It's like playing a tape cassette. The tape cassette doesn't change. You could put it in 100 different tape decks and it's going to give you the same fucking outcome.
Yeah.
So like, what are you doing? And yeah, for me, it's one of those things where it's like, just like you had said, I knew that I was going to have to get sober eventually. I already kicked the pain pills and the Xanax and the designer drugs. And in my head, I was like, yeah, I'm just going to smoke my pot, drink my liquor, and it'll be fine. And it's like, no, you're actually worse.
Yeah, that was the core of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm just so fucking proud of you, dude. It's just fucking phenomenal, genuinely. Like, it's just... because it's the thing that's, I mean, you and I would be drinking on your porch talking about like, are we next?
Yeah.
Fuck that. And then we keep going. And it's like, we would have been. I don't think I'd be alive right now.
It's easier to like keep drinking instead of actually thinking about any consequences to it.
Yeah. And I think the things that they don't tell you are the things that I like to elaborate on the show. And some of the things that they do tell you, I like to elaborate on. Like the classic one is when you get sober, you find out who your real friends are. And that's yes and no.
Yeah.
Because we have still lots of friends that still will go out to the bars or be drunk all the time or still doing whatever. And it's not like they're not our friends. They're just not a part of our lives anymore. And people are like, well... how can you be friends with somebody that's not part of your life? And it's like, well, that's, you're looking at like a textbook definition. You got to think of it in an abstract way, and that's how I like to look at it is you separate yourself from the environment and you collect yourself and then figure out if you can go back there. Most of the time you probably can't, but the idea of being around the people you love and also enjoying that time is really what it's about at the end of the day.
And not having to be drunk while doing it.
Yeah.
That's just, yeah. I don't really have, like, more of my old friends, like, drink. It literally got down to, like, our friend group that we still hang out, like, that we hang out. They don't drink or anything. They don't really party. But I was there, like, drinking all the time. And even if I was socially drinking, everyone takes a shot. And before the next round, everyone has a shot. I've taken like 5 or 6 in between that. But yeah, you can still... I have friends from the past that are still definitely friends. We partied together and stuff like that. But if I saw them, I wouldn't be like, you're fucking toxic.
Yeah. And I think that's a thing that does happen. In my experience, it's the reverse. I'm not going to name names, but that actually happened here a few weeks ago where it was like, oh, damn, that sucks. I'm sorry you feel that way. But like, that's what they're talking about, the real friend, whether or not somebody's going to respect your recovery or not. That's what they're talking about. Not like you can't go out. Like I go out to lunch with my friends and the two of them, they'll still both order, like a gin and tonic or a daiquiri or whatever. And I'll just have, a Coke or a cup of coffee and that's fine. But then once it gets to the line of, unable to be respectful of the path, that's when you kind of slam the window closed, I think. But you mentioned grace earlier. I don't know if we were recording or not, but like doing it gracefully is the big thing. Because nobody wants to be a teetotaler. Nobody wants to be that guy that's like, counting people's drinks. They're not the one with the problem.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I remember my mom called me up like after, and she's like, "Are you upset with me? Because she doesn't like drink off the handle or anything." I'm like, "You can do whatever you like. Your sobriety isn't on me. It's not like when I'm with you, you're like, just have a drink."
Right.
And like everyone around me definitely respects the journey. It makes me look back, like when you first started getting sober, I was such like, not a dick about it in the mean way of like, what are you doing, but just like still drinking wicked heavily in front of you, just not caring, you know.
Yeah. And I wasn't one of the people that was like, I wasn't going to throw fits about it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like, because that's the wrong way to go about it, I think. Because this is what my thinking was like, if I was going to be that guy, go to your house to hang out with you and then be pissed that you were drinking, how is that going to help you?
Yeah.
That's not going to help anybody. That's just going to make us stop being friends. That's just going to make us dislike each other.
Yeah.
And it's just not a way to operate. You know, they say the opposite of addiction is connection. And that's like quote number 3 if we have a tally going. Yeah. But like, and it's the truth, you know. Here's number 4: pain is an adhesive. You know, like, you can still have relationships with people even if they're operating on a different like at a different like frequency than you. You know, you're on different wavelengths, but that's fine. And I think that's a thing that they don't. There's a lot of people that I've met through AA or NA or Celebrate Recovery, Smart Recovery, and even church that are very keen on arm's length with the others. Yeah. And I feel like that's not good.
You got to be, well, you set up your healthy boundaries. I mean, if you being around somebody else that's like drinking, yeah, stay away. I don't think you should blow up on them or anything. Just stay. You got to stay away from that.
Mm-hmm.
And you can just silently back out. You don't have to declare what you're doing, make a big deal out of it or anything. But yeah, healthy boundaries. You got to set them up everywhere. And that's, yeah.
And that's a thing that I never had when I was
anywhere. Yeah.
Like, I didn't even know that you were allowed to do that while I was drinking, like setting boundaries that didn't exist for me. You know, like, I mean, I remember being that guy. I was that guy that would just get hammered drunk and start like texting people from high school or calling people from high school, being like, dude, I miss you so much. I love you. And then like you look back on it and you're like, Jesus, what the hell was I doing?
Why did I tell that kid from my 9th grade biology class that I haven't seen in years that I miss him?
Yeah. No, and it's just funny, man. And it's like, here's quote number 5 where it's like, the joy that you get in recovery. Like there's no, I hadn't really felt joy truly, you know, and I started young. I was 13 when I started abusing substances. So like I'm going to be 30 next year. I have just over 3 years sober. And it's like I've literally I was never happy.
Yeah.
Never happy. People thought I was. I thought I was. But it's nice to be able to believe it.
Yeah.
For once.
It's nice to know that like any feelings I have right now that are not because of even the sad ones, the happy ones, everything like that. I'm feeling them, you know, they're not the actual dull thing of it. And even those sad times, it feels good to go through it sober, you know, not rely on a constant crutch all the time. And that's all alcohol was for me, was just a crutch. Yeah, just from not sorting through any of my own shit, not liking myself, and just the easiest thing to do is just drink, and you'll forget. You'll still hate yourself as you're drinking, but for some reason feels a little better.
You just accept it.
Yeah.
And like misery loves company. And I find that like the longer I've been on this path and the more positive I've been, the less that if I do have situations where I think I was trying to get to this before, but I couldn't figure out till now. But like if I'm in situations where certain people don't want to be around me anymore, it's because they're miserable.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, and maybe that makes me sound condescending, so be it. But like most of the time
If
that
you
it
don't
rings
wanna
true.
Yeah, you don't want to hang out with me.
It's because you're
miserable.
wrong. Yeah, maybe that was the wrong way to say it, but
I get what you mean, though.
yeah, like it makes me sad sometimes when I see the same people, they're doing the same thing, and you just have to hope and pray that they can get through it. And that's where it gets like culty. Where it's like oh, you're almost one of us.
What's your higher power?
Yeah.
That's a great one too.
And the higher power thing was like my favorite discussion to have, where it's like I remember a guy in one of my meetings when I was down in Philly was talking about like he's like, I don't give a hell what my higher power is. He goes, my higher power changes every day. He's like, sometimes it's the sunrise, sometimes it's the thunderstorms. He goes, sometimes it's the deadbolt on my front door when there's solicitors on my front porch. Like
That's my higher power.
Like, but as long as you can accept that it isn't all about you. And you mentioned way in the beginning about how like you don't know what clicked. Something clicked where you were like, all right, I got to get better. We call that the gift of desperation.
Yeah, the bottom of the hole.
Yeah.
I probably could have started. There's so many, what are they, like not yets?
Mm-hmm.
All this shit. Because there's so many people I've seen too in AA that are like, well, I'm not as bad off as this guy. And it's like, that's one of the biggest things, that you're not supposed to compare to each other who has the worst, sob story.
Mm-hmm.
It's supposed to just be, you're just there for each other. But speaking of the higher power too, because there's definitely a lot of like, they God or whatever. But my favorite thing is just the higher power being the rooms of AA. All those people together. That's your higher power. Because it's a power greater than yourself. All those people together, having your back. That's what AA has helped me with too. Like, I'm not as judgmental about people.
Mm-hmm.
I still think for some reason people are judging me all the time, but just anyone, I'm like, I don't know what they're fucking going through. And it makes life easier when you're not just so negative about everything.
Yeah, that's a problem I will admit I still have sometimes.
Yeah.
Where I'll be straight up honest. Like that's a problem I struggle with every now and then where I'm like, God damn it. Just why don't you get it? And it's like, that's so unfair for me to think that. But the old me would have kept thinking that and thinking I was correct in thinking that way rather than doubling back and being like, fuck, hang on. If I'm starting to think that way, I'm messing up somewhere. Where am I messing up at? And one of my number 6, if we have the tally going, rock bottom isn't where you hit your lowest point. Rock bottom is when you decide to change.
Yeah, when you stop digging.
Yes, exactly. And for me, I don't know if you felt this way, but for me, where I got, this is my 24-hour chip. This is the chip I keep on me pretty much at all times. And I got my 3-year here. I had a display for it. I lost it.
I'm sorry.
It's a shame. I fucked up. But I remember the first time I stepped into my first AA meeting, and we all just sat down, and I'm like looking around, and I was the youngest one there by like a decade at least. You probably have the same thing. You're probably one of the younger ones there. Yeah. And you're just looking around and you're like, fuck, what am I doing here? And then it starts. And you go through, what we do. You go through the serenity prayer, and everybody starts sharing, and you're like, oh, and like you just ease up, and you're like, oh wait, this is where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah, because it's like one of the only places that they have just one thing. They just sobriety. That's all it is. I love that they don't want you talking about anything outside of just fucking sobriety. It's the only reason everyone's there. And and if you are thinking about joining AA or going to there's nothing more that they love AA rooms than someone new coming in.
That's a fact.
Yeah,
that's a genuine fact.
Yeah, they love it because that's at the end of the steps. Like step 12, everything you learned, you're supposed to try to not so much like spread it. You're supposed to do it in your daily life, but if somebody needs that help, people are always on it. It's not, it's service work still, but it's service work in AA. They're not like going out and trying to find
you're not
drunks or anything.
You're not soliciting people or handing out pamphlets. It's just like
you're not going to a bar.
You
need help.
Yeah, it's like what do they say? If you build it, they will come.
Yeah,
and it's just a beautiful thing, honestly. Just the unity. What is it? It's unity, service, recovery.
Yeah,
and the unity part, because you never felt unity. I never felt unity at a bar or at a party. No. I was just like, fuck this. I'm going to keep slinging back vodka shots. I'm going to play around a pool. I'm going to play some darts. I'm going to put Meshuggah on the jukebox, and I'm going to see how many people I can piss off tonight without getting hit.
Without getting
like, and it's just amazing. And like, there's nothing that makes me happier than hearing you say that. Like, because it, in a selfish way, it makes me feel good knowing like, okay, this does work.
Yeah.
I'm not crazy.
No, it does. And that's the thing. It does work. If you stick to what they're telling you to do, it does work. It's just the whole time. It's just like, because there's a lot of like corny, like the tailies, just like sayings and stuff like that. And at first that's how you kind of, most of the time I go into anything being a skeptic. I'm like, oh, what the fuck? But actually rehab, I didn't. I went into rehab and I was like, whatever the fuck you tell me to do, I'm going to do it. But going into AA, I'm just not skeptical.
That's exactly what I got this for.
Yeah, you found it?
Yeah, so that's the notebook I brought with me when I went to rehab. And I didn't mean to cut you off, but I'm about to. Good. But it was like when I got there, I was like, I'm not going to be that guy that I'm not going to go 7 hours away from home and spend all this money and fuck this up.
Yeah.
This is it. Like, and that is like the most perfect way to approach it. Like if you want what we have, you got to really want it.
Yeah.
And you'll know if you do.
You'll like, it's got to be like, going to a rehab, that's like getting a huge head start on it. I can't imagine actually, I mean, I was there, but taking that step to go get help and go into an AA meeting on your own, just like that takes so much bravery and courage just to take the step in. But once you're in there, like totally
it's a wrap.
Different vibe. Yeah.
Yeah. And in a more of a lighthearted tone, the best coffee I've ever had. Literally the best coffee I've ever had in my life is the coffee at any meeting, any NAAA meeting. It's
just because you're sober.
Yeah. And you're just like, man, I get to enjoy this cup of coffee and be around people, and we have an hour and a half to just exhale and share and just, I mean, we're gushing about it, but like, what else is there to do? Like, honestly, like it's genuinely amazing. And like when I called you when you were in rehab, and you had been there for maybe 2 weeks, and you're like, yeah, I'm already helping out with meetings and I'm doing this and that, and I'm like, oh, he's got it. He's got it. It's locked in.
Immediately I like fell in love with the actual meeting stuff. At Tully Hill though, I hate it. So there's like the speaker of the meeting, and then there's the whole crowd, but they make the people in rehab like sit up next to the speaker, and you're just watching it the whole time, and it like makes you feel awkward. But all the old timers there will make you feel so comfortable. They usually have a great story that they practice saying it, so it comes out so smooth. You'll definitely hear a lot of people repeating the same thing, but that's what you have to remember why you're there.
Yeah.
So you got, and it's not like your story's gonna like I was drunk. I'm not gonna have new drunken stories. So you're gonna, and you see these people so much, they eventually just start learning a lot about, like, some of those people know things in there that you or Christy don't know, or my mother.
And that's the most beautiful part about it, is that there's genuinely no judgment.
Yeah.
Well, unless I'm there on a bad day.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. But like that was the thing for me, and that was the thing that I used to get eye rolls every time I was in meetings, and I would always say number 8 is if you're lost in the woods for 10 years, it's going to take you 10 years to get out, which is the namesake of the show. Because I think my biggest problem, and I was talking about it with Seth and Anna upstairs before you got here, was like I had already had 5 or 6 years of clean time off of opiates, and I had about 5.5 months without alcohol before I made the decision to go to rehab. But I felt so much worse sober, and I was like, what the fuck? I quit drinking. Why am I not better? Why am I not better? And then it's not going to happen overnight.
It's not. And going to rehab even after being like, so, they just, all the tools that they teach you and how to actually just take everything in and how to deal with it. That's another thing, Tully, like a 10-minute call every day. That's the main thing I got. And it's just, no phones, no anything. That's why rehab's so good. It just gives you a chance to.
You did some Navy SEAL type shit compared to what I was doing. I was living in a sober house with 11 other dudes, and because I skipped the rehab part, I just went straight into sober living.
Yeah.
And they were like, all right, welcome to the house. You go to meetings Monday through Friday. You have half days at the center on Friday. And by the way, you got a landscaping job, and it starts Saturday morning. And I was like, what? Okay. I'm here. Let's do it, And for me, the craziest thing was that the first AA meeting I went to, the guy that handed me this chip, his name's Pete. I show up to the landscaping gig the first day. He's the fucking foreman. And I was like, no way. And, obviously it's set up like that. But for me, I'm like, okay,
small world.
This is small world. And I'm like, this is real. This is a thing that we can do. And so all the dudes on the landscaping crew were other people from other facilities. And it was just fucking beautiful. And I really fell in love with life again. And I think that's the biggest thing. Like, when we were hanging out, we hang out not as often as we'd like, but when we do hang out, I always still get there an hour or two before everybody else, and you and I just shoot the shit instead of drinking vodka on the porch. We sit on the porch and talk, and one of the things we talked about was like falling back in love with things that we forgot we loved.
Yeah, just things I stopped even caring about. There was so many things too. You just, when you're hammered drunk, you can't really do, like, drawing. I like to paint those little mini stuff. Like, you can't do that when you're hammered. And it's just, you definitely fall back in. I fell back in love with, like, Christy, the whole time there, and sobering up and seeing just how much she had my back. Like, I fell in love with her again, and sobriety gave me that. Not that I ever fell out of love with her, but just such an appreciation and such feeling like a dick for all those years that she still stuck by me, like, no matter what. Yeah, she's the best.
She's QB1.
Yeah.
She's the Josh Allen of the team.
She really is. She keeps it all together.
She really does.
Happiest, nicest girl ever.
Yeah. Super, super. No, I'm not going to make any jokes like that on this show. We'll do it on the next show.
This isn't about jokes.
Yeah. No, that was a thing for me too, was really appreciating what I had, and also really appreciating what I didn't have. I grew up my whole life like so envious of Wes and Christy. I really
mean,
did.
They had a dope house. And
Yeah.
shit. Yeah.
And I was so envious of all these other friends that were like, oh, why this guy's getting married and this guy's got the nice factory job. This guy just got a boat. This girl just got her nursing degree. You know, this girl is, you know, a doctor in Europe now. And it's like, well, what the fuck? All I have is my liquor. And I look at it now and it's like, oh, I had everything I ever wanted. I just didn't see it.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's what I was so unhappy about was like the only thing I didn't have that I wanted more than anything was recovery. And, you know, I tell people all the time, like, my worst days are better than most people's best days.
That's a bold statement.
Yeah.
No,
And I think it's true. I genuinely believe that. Like, you know, I bitch about my job or I bitch about, you know, my ear hurting or like, you know, the Wi-Fi is out. Very minute things, but I'm not going to get too deep or heavy into it. But like, you know, I'm not as lonely as I used to be. And I'm realizing in recovery, like, I wasn't lonely. I wanted to be lonely as an excuse.
Yeah, I was about to say that exact thing. Like, yeah, and another reason I wanted to be lonely is because people didn't want to drink the way I wanted to drink, and you know, you're always feeling judged when you're drinking too much.
Mm-hmm.
But then that's why drinking works out too, because it gives you that I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
So that just keeps a circle where you're ashamed and you're drinking till it's I don't give a fuck, and then you sober up and you're ashamed, and it just keeps going around. But yeah, sobriety.
It's I mean, it's I know, and it's like one of those whenever I talk about it with people, I'm always like, I'm sorry, I'm really preachy about it, you know, and I mentioned to a couple people the other day, I'm like, I'm really transparent about it, and one of our friends said, you really are, and I go, yeah, I am, dude, but it's like for me, my counselor and my sponsor were both like, you know, what works best for me is to approach it with the same aggressiveness that I approach my addiction.
Yeah.
You know, and different things work for different people. You know, we mentioned we had Jesse on episode 2, and Jesse didn't do any of the things that we did, but he still has it. He's still on the path to recovery, and it's working great for him. And so, like, all things are possible, but you can't just try one thing and then be like, no, I'm done.
Yeah, what is this number 9? Don't stop till the miracle happens.
Yes, yes.
But I'm proud of him for being able to just, you know, do it on his own. Like, you got to really want it and really go for it, and just that takes some courage.
Yeah, I mean, that was one of the first things he said on our last episode was like, you got to want it, and if you think you want it, then you don't want it enough. You'll know when you want it enough, you know. And you know, at the end of the day, for me, I didn't want to die. I kind of like being alive. Yeah. Being alive is pretty dope. Yeah. And I just didn't want to die. And I knew I was going to if I didn't stop.
Yeah.
And I think that's the scariest thing, because that's a reality that the two of us have had to face multiple times, where we're like, another one, you know, and then it's like, all right, what the hell? When is it going to be me? Is it going to be the liquor? Am I going to drink myself to death, or am I going to kill myself? That's where it came down to. Like,
yeah, I spent a few times in the mental hospitals from a few attempts, but that was it too. Like, I didn't want to live, but I was too afraid to die. And now I want to live and I don't want to die, you know, and that's a nice feeling too. And sometimes I feel like when you're drinking that heavily, that's almost in the back of your mind. Like, that'd be sick if I just died and didn't have to deal with this tomorrow.
That's what I told my boss at Pathfinder at the time, where she straight up asked me, she goes, why do you drink as much as you do? And I straight up told her, I go, because eventually it will be the last time. Yeah. Because I'll be dead. And that's such a crazy statement, but like, it's the truth.
You can say that shit to people like that. I can't. Yeah, just something offhand.
I've always been way too transparent.
Yeah.
It might be a form of train addiction, but like you know.
That's what I love when you got sober, though. I still saw that boldness. That wasn't just alcohol or anything. That's you to the core.
Yeah,
I love that. And yeah, I think back on now when you were first getting sober and just how much of a dick I was to not be more supportive.
I didn't think that at all.
When I started getting sober, I thought back on it when I was in rehab, and I did it to Dan too, because Dan was like 6 months sober, and I went up there and brought a handle of vodka and was just drunk the whole time we were hanging out. And now looking back on that, I'm like, oh god, like what a fucking dick move. And that's the thing too. I thought I was like drinking more than anyone, so that anyone that like got sober, I took that as an attack on myself. I'm like, you think you're better than me? Yeah. Oh, you're sober now?
Yeah, watch this.
Watch this. I'm gonna pass out at 2.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I appreciate you saying that. But I'm gonna be honest, I never took offense to it at all, because it wasn't about you.
Yeah.
And it was one of those things where it was like you and I had enough conversations where I was like, he's gonna get it. He's gonna be fine. I don't think I ever I think I definitely would get upset. Be like, oh, it's noon and Zach's already hammered.
Yeah.
But like now you're not.
Now I'm not.
Like at the end of the day.
Hammered.
And I tell people like I said before, like you can't be ashamed of any of it. I think that's my biggest thing, and that's the thing. Some people, I actually had somebody the other day he had a problem with how transparent and how vocal I am about it.
Yeah.
And that's whatever. I don't respect his opinions anyway. But like, what it comes down to is just exactly that. Like, I remember my grand sponsor, so my sponsor's sponsor,
yeah.
Told me at my first meeting, where it was my first men's meeting with the group down in Philly. So I had been going for like a week or so, and he said, only 1 in 25 people starts AA and doesn't ever drink again. He goes, do you think you're one of those people? And I go, of course I do. He goes, yeah, you're one of those people. Like he just knew. And it's like, no, tell me I won't. That was my classic line when I was drinking, and that's my classic line now, number 10. Tell me I won't.
So many people do, like, that's how they start out, like, on their trip to sobriety, being like, you fucking think I can't?
Yeah.
Because, when you're drunk all the time, you take a lot of things right to heart.
Yeah.
Any little thing you overanalyze, you're like, that was about me. And now
big time.
Yeah. You feel like, just everyone's judging. And they're not that they're judging you in a bad, they're judging because they're like scared for you.
Yeah. It's like more of they're out of concern.
Yeah.
And it was weird when I would be like, why are you worried about me? Do you think you're better than me?
Yeah.
Are you disrespecting me right now because you're worried? But even though all I wanted was people to be worried, but I hated it when they were.
Yeah.
It was just bizarre. And I think just that alone, I think just like looking at it as a challenge, and it's like you have everything you need. You have everything you need on you. Like you don't technically need anything else. You should get other things, but you don't need anything other than a clear mind and a goal.
Yeah.
And they're like, what's your goal? I don't ever want to be drunk again. I don't even want to drink again. Not even be drunk. I don't even want to have a beer ever again.
I never do, because there's no, and that's the thing, like if you relapse, they say like you're not gonna just be like, oh, I'm fine now. Like you go back into it right where you were. That's why I know, like, I wouldn't even try to be like, oh, I can have a beer or something, because I know as soon as it like touched, I'd be like, what's the point of that? I want to get drunk, and then I just.
Number 11. You're an alcoholic when 10 beers is not enough and one is too many.
Yeah,
that's
love
one of my
one.
favorite ones ever. And I had another one. God damn it, it's gone.
I got a good one I like.
Yeah.
I always hear the pour me a drink.
Yes.
Yeah, just talking about how, you're like, because you can easily rationalize it, especially if you're an alcoholic, why you have to drink. But that's kind of puts into perspective, like, everyone has those, like, pour me a drink. Because, I think that's why a lot of people keep drinking, though. Because, yeah, they're digging themselves into a hole.
Mm-hmm.
And it's tough climbing out. It's tough taking that first step. I'm thinking about Jesse again now, just doing that on his own. It's
amazing.
Yeah.
It fills me with so much fucking life.
Yeah.
Like, thinking about it. And I text him, and like, our friendship never faltered. But like, him and I are texting more often than we even were when we were younger. And it's just like, dude, every time I talk to him, like, oh my God, I fucking love him so much. I'm so fucking proud of him. And like, it feels good to know that people feel that same way about us.
Yeah, definitely. And it's like, I know Jesse as like an acquaintance. We've crossed paths a few times. I always liked him, but that's the weird thing, like, getting sober does for you too. You're hearing somebody else get sober and you're like, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I'm rooting for him, right? And it's just, yeah, the community of the sober people, it's good.
It is. And I think back on the relapse thing, like, for me, you mentioned when you relapse, you usually go right back to where you left off. And like, that's why I know I can't relapse again. Because if I do relapse again, I might as well die.
Yeah.
Like, I will die if I relapse again. I mean, I was thinking about how much I was drinking at my peak. And, I would have a bottle of vodka and a 12-pack of Labatt Blue. And then I would go out to the bar.
Yeah.
And it's like, I can't even think about having... I don't even know what would happen if I had one IPA right now. I'd be drunk for days.
I'd immediately too, if I had one drink, like, it would snap, like the floodgates would open up again. Because then I'd be so upset that I had a drink. The only way that I could probably console myself would to be get hammered drunk, and then it would just go that shame cycle again.
It'd be over.
And it's just beginning.
Exactly. I'm at 1,155 days right now. Where are you at?
Where'd my phone go? I dropped it earlier.
But the idea of that 1155 turning into 0.
Oh, actually, I know exactly what I am. It's it's 115 today.
No shit.
Yeah, 115 days today.
That's amazing.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to go back down to 0.
Mm-mm.
It's like losing all the experience in a video game or
literally
something.
That's what it feels like. We mentioned that earlier. We were like, it's like playing Dark Souls. When you die, you lose all your souls.
Yeah,
you got to start over. You don't get to pick them back up.
Not this time.
Yeah, it just, I don't know. And that's one of the things too. Like, I'm falling back in love with movies again, video games. I'm reading again. I'm writing poetry again. Like, going for walks. I weighed myself upstairs. I hit 189, which is like crazy. I was pushing 300 pounds at my heaviest. I was a big boy, dude. I was a big boy.
Yeah.
And like, most of the clothes that I'm wearing now are from high school. Like,
you get to go back to old clothes.
Yeah.
I know. I went down 2 pant sizes.
I gotta start wearing belts.
Yeah.
Like, that sucks, is having to wear belts now. But now I have the money for belts, so I guess it's a good thing.
Isn't that great though? That's what you're complaining about. You're like, oh, getting so skinny, I gotta wear belts.
Yeah.
Can you believe it?
Who would have thought?
Yeah.
I never would have thought in a million years I could be this happy, let alone be this happy sober.
I just never thought I was gonna stop drinking.
That too.
I'm surprised I didn't get what are they called? Intervention. I feel like people were planning it. It was coming soon. But I'm glad that too, that I did that before I saw everyone in front of me crying, and I really went in on my own. No pressure. I just wanted it. It was scary though.
Yeah. Of course it is.
Yeah, and you I remember getting there too, and they're like, do you have anything to drink? And I was like, yeah, like I was like last night, and they're like, okay, we're gonna breathalyze you, and I like had drank a whole like half a handle, and I think I blew like a 0.39. Yeah,
And you were just chilling.
and I was just chilling, and they were like, yeah, you blew. I was like, really? Because I know .08 is like I've never blown into a breathalyzer. And .08 is like when you get a DWI. I'm like, I can't imagine someone getting blown a .39. But yeah, that was fun. I wish I bought a breathalyzer earlier when I was drinking.
God, I'm thankful we didn't.
Yeah,
I mean, we had enough excuses to drink. I mean, I remember going and playing Fortnite, and we would play a game of Fortnite and take a shot every match, and matches are not long.
No, not at all.
Like,
yeah, we used to just crush alcohol together.
It was bad, man. It was real bad, and it was like, it was one of those things where like you just knew that no amount of liquor was safe, to the point where like you and I would have our own stashes separate from the public stashes, and then we would have stashes separate from our like it was like 3-tiered system. Like
and then I was still making sure like the first bottle that's going on is like the public one, and people are like, how'd that get gone so quick?
Yeah.
And then I had bottles everywhere too to hide it from Chris. Like I had one in the garage, I had one under the stairs in the back porch, but it's because if she started learning when I went out to smoke that I was having a drink and I was trying to say I wasn't, I'd go around to different places so she couldn't see my next move. And I just lied to her. Like I remember buying those little flask ones, and I was like, this is all I'm having, and I actually had like 2 more in my back pockets, like trying perfectly so she wouldn't see my ass at all, like going back home, and then getting it in there and getting in my kiln and be like, mission successful.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just glad
you got the all clear.
Yeah,
I know. I still remember I mean, because like I said before, that's what I would do. I would make sure I was already drunk before I left my house. But then I would have like a bottle like this of Gatorade that would be it would be half vodka, half Gatorade, and then I would drink that on the way to your house. Or the worst was like different soda bottles. Like a 7-Eleven bottle was always king because the bottle is green.
Yeah. All right.
So like nobody could tell if it was diluted. Or I mean shit, there were some times where I would take Bridge Street to your house, and I would stop at the Sting, and I would have a shot of whiskey and a Labatt,
keep moving
and then just leave. You know, and then it was fucking sad and scary and genuinely pathetic. Like really? I had to be inebriated to hang out with my loved ones,
to do anything.
Like I remember I never hid, because I live alone. I've lived alone for about a decade now, and I remember going to family events, and either at Grandma Jones's house, at my parents' house. I don't think I ever really drank at my Grandma Carson's house, but certainly at Grandma Jones's, where we would always get there early to set stuff up, and I would take all of the shooters out of her liquor cabinet and then put them in the bathroom. Brilliant. And so that way, like, I'd be like, yeah, I'll have another drink and I'll slug that. Well, my dad will tell you, I used to triple fist drinks. I would have a beer, a mixed drink, and a glass of wine. And then I would be drinking shooters in the bathroom.
And that's one thing too, like for the longest time I'm like, I'm not like ashamed of how much I drink, and then looking back on how much I was hiding it. I remember like when I was really drinking, like my mom and Christy just pleading to me to be like, at least like make a mixed drink or something. And then it got so bad that I was always drinking out of the bottle. They were pleading with me to just put it in a shot glass instead. Like that's how little they, thought that I could do. Like, Zach, can you at least pour it into a shot glass and not swig straight from the bottle? But now they don't have to worry about that.
Yeah. That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, your loved ones not having to worry so much. But I didn't do it only for, like, that's why I went in on I did it for me. I was done.
I'm glad we got to that point, because
Yeah.
that's a point we haven't touched on at all, is if you're trying to get sober just for other people, it's not going to work.
No,
It's not going to work. You have to do it for you. You know, I mentioned before we started recording, like, there's a podcast called, I think it's called, I can't remember the name of it, but it's Shia LaBeouf is talking with John Bernthal about how he recognized his behaviors and his patterns and what led him to AA and recovery. And that first 30 minutes of that episode, if you close your eyes, it literally sounds like it's me or you talking. It literally sounds like that. And I remember sitting there, and I don't know how it got on my homepage. I don't know why I clicked it. And then I remember sitting there for the whole 2.5 hours, and I just was like, I gotta go. I gotta do this.
Yeah.
I just want to be like Shia. And that's like a genuine statement.
I just want to be in a Transformers movie.
Yeah. Like, he talks about, like, what do you imagine for your future? And he goes, my future eventually, when I'm old, I want to have I imagine it's Christmas time and my house is full of all the people that I helped. Beautiful. And my wife and my kids get to be like, who are these people? And they're like, these are all the people that your dad helped. And these are also all the people that helped your dad. And I'm like, beautiful. How do I get there? And it goes back to number 12. If you want what we have, you got to keep coming back.
Oh, yeah.
And I got to keep coming back. I got to get back and do a meeting. That's half the reason I wanted you here.
You're still sober, though.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just not I'm very disconnected. And my thing is, you know, and my sponsor and I have talked about it, where it's like you thought you could do it, number 13, an easier, softer way. I'm doing it a harder way. Yeah. For me, yeah. Where I'm really, really, really trying to dig deep. And then every time I learn a bit more about myself, I just kind of throw seeds around. And I like to think that I've been helping people. I like to think that this is helping people. And, you know, whether it is or it isn't, it's not up to me to decide.
Yeah.
And it's not in my hands.
And one thing it's helping is you,
mm-hmm.
you know, because that's the service work.
Exactly. At the end of the day.
Because, yeah, and that's what they say. If you want what we have, you know, and some people might look at it and be like, I don't fucking want what's that. Yeah. And they always say, like, beyond your wildest dreams. I'm like, I have some wild dreams, but I didn't have any dreams or aspirations for myself when I was drunk. So I guess it is, like, my wildest dreams right now, just being sober, because I didn't think that was ever going to happen.
No.
And another thing I can't remember what we were talking about, but a big thing, too, about, you know, admitting you're an alcoholic and, like, getting help. You think nobody knows what you're going through, and they call it a terminal uniqueness. You think you're the only one, and then you get into AA and you're like, literally, we all have the same fucking story.
Yeah.
Like, some people might have gotten something worse, but it's always just the same. And you realize, you're like, okay, I'm not alone in this. Not alone at all. Not even close.
No.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite ones too is I'll never forget, I can't remember his name unfortunately, but I'll never forget, like, the first time I ever had somebody yell at me in a meeting because I said, well, I was a functioning alcoholic. There's no such thing.
Yeah, they don't like that.
No. You're an alcoholic.
Yeah.
Well, I say I'm a grateful recovering addict, because that's what I am. You know, my friend Jeff taught me that one, you know, because you have to be grateful. You have to be grateful for everything.
Yeah, I stick with for right now, just I'm an alcoholic. There's other ones, and I'm today I haven't drank or drugged or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
There's always good ones. You can tell people that have been there for a bit, the cool guys, they'll say something else. There's a guy at my Saturday meeting up at Tully every time. He's like, my name's Greg and I'm a drunk. And I'm like, all right, hell yeah. But
Yep, I had one of those guys, and they're the coolest guys.
yeah, there's a lot of just wild guys in AA that you're like, Jesus Christ, like, what were you like drinking if you're like this now?
That's the amazing thing too is I can't think of a time where I've been to an AA meeting and I ran into a person. You probably have ran into these people at meetings beforehand, but you wouldn't remember.
Mm-mm.
You wouldn't remember because you're all in your own little world. You're all in your own little, you know.
I can't remember. And that's one thing I've had that's helped me being sober now, just because always out in public, I'm like, people are judging me. And then I try to think back. I'm like, can I remember a single person I saw at the grocery store or anything like that? I'm like, no. I'm like, you're not a big deal to like everyone else. They're not watching your every single move.
Agreed. One of my favorites, this is number 14, I think, is the first step is admitting you have the problem. You can't put the toothpaste back in the tube.
Yeah, you can't turn a pickle back into a cucumber.
Yes, number 15.
Number 15. That's always a good one.
And it's just, you know, stuff like this. This conversations we've had, conversations we have yet to have is really what it's all about too. I mean,
I got a one that I heard from
number 16.
No, I don't know if this is a classic. My friend that I met in rehab did a bunch of coke and sold coke, and he was like, a monkey can't sell bananas. And I was like,
that is amazing.
Yeah, I was like, I like that one a lot.
I like that one a lot too.
Yeah,
it's incredible. It really is. And initially this was going to be I'm very fucking grateful that I managed on short notice in less than 24 hours. I was like, hey, do you want to be on? You were like, yep. All right, we're here, we're doing it. And like, that's fucking amazing.
I don't have much going on. Yeah.
It's just this.
Yeah. And now that I'm sober, I can be like, yeah, I can do that. I mean, I wouldn't come in here drunk for a recovery podcast anyways, but it's just, yeah, I was fine with, because like the first time I did clear shots or anything like this, like I needed to be drunk. I was so just nervous about everything, but now I don't need to. I can go out into the world, deal with things. And before, I could not leave my house unless I was drunk before anything I went to.
There's another thing too, is like shoulda, coulda, wouldas, you know, where it's like, I mentioned on my first episode, like one of the reasons the reason I quit drinking was because I didn't want to lose my job at Pathfinder. And I ended up losing that job anyway because I was such a bag of shit after quitting drinking because I was just sober. I wasn't recovering.
Yeah.
And, you know, sometimes I'm like, damn, I really wish I did this sooner. But it's like, no, you do it when it's time.
You did it at the perfect time.
Yeah. You know, the best time, 17. The best time to plant a tree is yesterday. The second best time to plant a tree is today.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I think that's how it goes.
It sounds about right. It sounds like something they'd say.
And I had a few quotes in here, and of course, like a dunce, I didn't save any of my pages, but
you're just gonna flip through.
I'm just gonna flip through. And it's just like, I mean, it's poetry and just random doodles and diagrams. Things that you're grateful for, things that you wish you could have changed, things that you have to accept that you can't change.
That's a huge one that they taught in rehab, like a gratitude list. That's the huge thing, just every day, even if it's something small, just keep focusing on what you're thankful for and why you're doing this whole thing.
Like, there's one in here I just read, and a lot of these I unfortunately don't have the context for because just the way I take notes is just awful. but like don't let your fear be the driver. Have your fear be the navigator.
Hard.
Right? Like you know, you don't have to listen to it, but it's good to have it in the back of your head.
Yeah, you want a healthy amount of fear. Else people would be jumping off of buildings. You know,
Like,
we have innate fear.
And it's just, you know, I read this and I'm like, I remember writing these down and I was like, I don't know if I'm ever going to appreciate these as much as I did as I was writing them. But now that I'm writing them, I'm like, I'm still in the same headspace. It's just different.
I went through my rehab folder the other day and just kind of looked through some stuff that I did. It's just nice to, like, even if you don't know the context of that quote, you can look back and read it and be like, when I wrote this down, it really fucking meant something to me at that time. Maybe I can figure out what it means to me again.
Oh, you know what we didn't talk about, which is one of my favorite topics. We talked about this when you first came home. And I have a different spin on it than a lot of people because I don't view it as a negative thing. I view it as a positive thing. And I also don't view it as a finite thing. I feel like it's eternal. You just have to hop on and hop off. But pink clouding. Pink clouding is one of my favorite things because
it's real.
It's real. For those that don't know, pink clouding is basically when you first get onto the path to recovery and you're just like, oh my God, this is amazing.
There's a huge high to
it. You feel almost euphoric. And there will be some bad actors that will be like, hey, you're pink clouding right now, buddy. How about you settle down a bit? Don't. Yeah. Ride that pink cloud as long as you can. And if it does die down, do not be afraid. I have almost 1,200 days of sober time, and I pink cloud constantly.
I'm constantly on that cloud.
I feel great. I have relapse nightmares a lot. Especially, I quit smoking pot about 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And because I noticed patterns with marijuana. Well, we talked about it.
Yeah.
The last time that I smoked was with you. And leading up to it, I was like, man, every time I smoke, I feel super anxious and guilty for like 15 minutes. And then what do I get? Oh, I'm just stoned for 2 hours. And and that's me personally. Like it's not a universal thing. But one of the things I've noticed now that I'm not smoking is I'm having extremely vivid dreams, and almost all of them are relapse dreams.
Yeah.
And they used to scare the shit out of me, especially in early recovery. But now I wake up and I'm in my bed and, you know, I got my YouTube. Usually it's Oni plays on the TV and I have a bottle of water here and I'm just like, oh,
everything's fine.
That's fine. That doesn't have to happen anymore. And it puts a pep in my step for a while. But the pink cloud,
pink cloud is very, and I kind of definitely recently just like change of weather and stuff. It was real easy to like fall off of that, I guess. Like I'm not 100% pink clouding right now, but even if when you're gonna feel a dip, of course, all different times during your sobriety, just one day at a time.
Genuinely, one day at a time. My dad likes to say it's 1 minute at a time. And he's spot on about that too, because you never know. But it's funny when you know, I had somebody mention me the other day, they're like, so did you move my apartments? And I go, no. They're like, you still live next door to Bames? I go,
that's a tough one. I forgot.
Ooh. And I go, yeah. I go, thank God. They're like, why? And I go, because every day I leave my house and I see that fucking liquor store, my favorite liquor store, I still live right next door to, and I know I'm never going to step foot in there again.
That's how I feel when I'm riding my bike by 5 Points, because that's the road
the one on the forks of the road there.
Yeah, that's the one I go past to go to AA. And I ride past that every day. I almost just want to pop in and be like, I'm not going to at all, but just tell the owner, be like, hey, I didn't die. Like, I know I was coming in here and buying like a handle of vodka. Like, I didn't die or anything. I just got sober.
Well, now lately I get that feeling from DoorDash drivers because I haven't, now that I'm not smoking all the time, I actually have motivation Because for me that was a big killer, was ambition and motivation, and just I had a general malaise around me because I was abusing it, I wasn't respecting it, and I was just doing what I was doing. So like, if I could be honest, like, I sometimes feel that I only have 18 days of sobriety.
Yeah.
Honestly, like, but
it's what you count as sobriety to yourself too.
And it was the 5th of November, so that's easy to remember.
The 5th of November.
Yeah.
What is that from?
V for Vendetta.
Oh yeah, remember the 5th of November.
But yeah, I don't know, man. Like, for me, at the end of the day, it's all about gratitude. You know, you gotta this one I like. This one pertains to a lot of it. You know, be grateful for your hardships, otherwise you cannot truly enjoy your successes. God pities the man who gains and never loses, for he is not worthy of his good fortune. And then the next two quotes were ones we already said. Pain is an adhesive. The opposite of addiction is connection. Rock bottom isn't when you hit the bottom. It's when you decide to change. And I just think that really just sums it up pretty well. Honestly.
Because I feel like a lot of alcoholics, too, they're like, I haven't hit my rock bottom.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I'm waiting for a real, like, don't wait for the DUI and your whole life to be just shattered.
And just like before, like, you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. I remember my second week being at Pathfinder, we were all going out. The department was going out to get drinks and appetizers and stuff. And I just remember being like, yep, I got $40 to spend. And I go, I think I can get like 4 or 5 Manhattans with that. And one of the girls turned around and she goes, you're just going to have like 4 drinks? She's like, what about dinner? And I go, I'm an alcoholic.
Yeah.
And that was the first time I said it out loud.
Yeah.
And I said it as a joke. And then I remember on the walk over to the restaurant, I was like, oh, fuck.
No, it's
like literally, I could still feel that pit in my stomach where I was like, oh, fuck. I am an alcoholic, aren't I? It doesn't matter that I have all these nice things.
I knew I was an alcoholic. And not that I was admitting it, but I just didn't think of it really as a bad thing. I'm like, yeah, whatever. I'm an alcoholic. Is who I am. Is what it is. That's another one. I don't know if we said that one already.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
Genuinely.
I'm trying to think of the ones they at AA actually throw this out. Serenity Hall. It's right across from Cam's Pizzeria on 2nd Street. Little building. And that's where the AA meetings are. Serenity Hall. They have early risers at 8. They have one Monday through Friday at noon, and then another one at 5:30. They got ladies' nights on Thursday at 6:30. So another thing too, if just to throw this out, if anyone's listening and just wants to go and check it out, you're welcome there. They're mostly all open meetings, and you don't have to say anything. You don't even have to say you're an alcoholic. Just you can sit there and be like, thanks, I'm just here to listen today.
Mm-hmm.
And and nobody's gonna judge you on that. So even if you want to check it out, but I will give you this, you're gonna think it's a little culty at first.
That's a fact. There's nothing to be ashamed of about that either.
No, there's really not, especially because you realize the cult is just a cult to not drink, but it's just those funny little things when people are like reading the steps, because the meetings start the same every time, but just like, God would and could if he were sought, and then you say that, and like everyone in the room also goes like, if he were sought, the same, or it will come to you if you work for it, and then work, like stuff like that.
Keep coming back.
Dad, don't stop before the miracle happens.
It's fucking beautiful.
I've seen some crazy stuff in AA things like, just like this guy. Just this last Saturday, I was up at Tully Hill for a meeting, and his dad died like 2 hours before the meeting, and he was like, this is the first place I needed to come to. And like AA is that powerful if you're like really into it and not a cynic about it. Like, it helps a lot of people, and you can't deny it. And it does work if you work it. But it's
18.
just 18. Yeah. It's you just just check out AA. But in all honesty, I would like me before like going to rehab so many times. My mom's like, maybe you should check out AA, and I'm like, maybe you should shut the fuck up. But, yeah, be like, I'm not doing that bullshit, Christ shit, blah blah blah. But it's not all about that, and yeah, you don't have to have any God. But my favorite thing I learned in rehab, because we were talking about a higher power, and they asked Einstein if he believed in God, and he said he believes in the God of Spinoza. And basically, what that Spinoza was like a philosopher, and he was basically saying like God isn't in a temple. God isn't like here. It's in the smile of your sun, or like the sun setting. Anything beautiful, that's God, and he's not out there to punish you. He made you, and he made you exactly how he wanted to. And just stuff like that. Like, you don't have to go and pray him. You don't have to, he doesn't want you to die in a bunch of fire or anything. He's not trying to punish you. And I like that thought of God more. But,
Same.
But yeah, that's another thing I was skeptical, because you'll hear that in AA too, be like, I'm like spiritual. Anyone that before was like, I'm very spiritual, I'm like, ugh, like, get away from me. I don't want to hear that shit at all. I'm very spiritual.
But now you kind of get it.
Now I get it. And there's still, still some spiritual stuff. I'm like, I don't know, like Mercury in retrograde. I don't know if that's real or not. But
yeah, the tides and all that.
Yeah, but that's the thing too. I'm not skeptical about that. If you want to believe in that shit now, I don't judge it at all. I'm like, if it makes you happy and
if it lets you rationalize the craziness that we're in.
Oh yeah.
Because if you just try to do it in like a scientific way and with numbers and formulas, you're going to end up more miserable than you were when you started. Yeah. Just for me, I just understand that if there's something that I can't comprehend or I can't rationalize, then I don't have to worry about it. It's out of my hands.
Yeah.
Like, that's the biggest thing for me.
The wisdom to know what you can change.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I think that's our time. I think we did at least 20 minutes.
Yeah. I
don't know where we're at with time.
2
Holy
hours.
Shit. Okay.
Oh, 1:17.
We'll take it. But yeah, I really appreciate having you on right now.
Thanks.
And it was absolutely amazing. And this was Out of the Woods. We were joined with Zach Patrick. My name is Jake Jones, and I will not drink with you tonight.
Neither will I. All right. Thanks.